Good evening. Would you please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance? Dear Lord, look lovingly on this group gathered here during this meeting as we discuss and deliberate on issues of importance to this council. Help us to be guided by your Spirit. May we be wise in our discernment, balanced in our judgment, fair in our decisions, and visionary in our planning. Though we may at times have differing views, may we listen to one another and be guided by our common goals. May we always be mindful of our words and actions, of what is best for our citizens and our community. May we ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the November 5th council meeting. And I'm pleased that it's getting late in the evening because I'm so tired of political commercials. Now all I got to do is get rid of all those Medicare things. Be all set. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lingo?
Here.
Mr. Parsons?
Here.
Mr. Redding?
Here.
Mrs. Dosa?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mrs. Rissel?
Okay, everyone's accounted for. Minutes from the October 15 council meeting. Does anybody see any corrections or anything that's misspelled or anything that needs to be fixed? Then I would ask for a motion to pass this on as printed.
Make a motion to pass the minutes as printed.
Okay, Mr. Young has made a motion to adopt the minutes as printed. Ms. Rissel seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Now, we do have minutes for the Mount Healthy City Council work session on the parks from October 15th. Let's take a quick look at them, see if there's any corrections you need to make. It's on the last page of your packet.
It's last meeting. No, it is. No. Conversation yet?
Mine says safety committee.
That was,
Yeah, right, it's the second last page.
it was
my
about
second.
UDF.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the work session as printed.
Okay,
Second.
Mr. Parsons has made a motion to adopt. Mr. Cordell has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned, or, listen to me. Motion is passed. Do we have any guests or special events tonight? No. Public input. Who would like to address council tonight? Jim, tell us what a nice time you had at the library open house. No? Okay. Well, I will take a moment and just say that the library is absolutely stunning. And they have large print books for me. But anyway, yeah, I'm very impressed with the library.
Did you find a card catalog?
No, no, I did not.
All digital these days.
They're gonna make me use a pooter. Okay, mayor's report. Jenny is not here tonight, so we'll go to the city manager's report. Mr. Bauer.
Few things here. See, fire department, we had a safety committee meeting last week and kind of had a discussion on the inspections to date. Looks like they're making pretty good progress. Be meeting with them regularly to kind of look at the schedule and just kind of make sure that we're working our way through the whole city. Had discussions with one of the captains. Looks like our code, the last time we updated it was 2005 to reference the Ohio fire inspection code. So I think we're due for an update in our own code, but also looking at possible fee structure for going out and doing inspections. If you have repeat offenders, if you come up with an item that's wrong with the building and you go back and re-inspect, it's still not wrong. There's buildings we go back 3 times, so it could be worthwhile to look into some type of fee schedule. A lot of other municipalities have things like that. So start putting that together, and I can kind of present some recommendations to council. So let's see, for streets, be meeting with JMA here soon to discuss Harrison. They call it Harrison Phase 2, the southern section of Harrison, and also Warner and Madison, just to kind of discuss when the pre-planning and all that's going to happen, the bidding. Don't know if anyone noticed at Harrison and Madison, we took a tree down. It was dropping limbs and had a very large one that was just hanging.
Yeah.
And it was October 31st, so trick or treat was going to happen that same day. So we went and saved everything off and got rid of the dead, but then we ended up having to take the whole thing down. There's a cavity in it about that size, probably a quarter of the tree was just empty. So there was room in the budget to do it, but it was kind of an emergency thing that happened, but got out there and took care of it. Let's see, Seward Avenue, we applied for that through SORTA. That actually did get rejected. Doesn't mean we can't apply for it in future years, but again, can be conversations we have with JMA to see maybe if there's a better street to apply for. I know I've seen other ones that some municipalities will use it for sidewalks. Maybe there's a potential sidewalk project, things like that. Do you have a question?
Did they say why it was rejected, or?
It's just the scoring. It's kind of, it's same.
Oh, so it was just
Right, it's the
specifically on the scoring
OPWC where they
basis,
line
okay.
everything up, and then they,
Okay.
they have this much funding, so if there's 20
Okay.
projects, these,
Okay. Fair
yeah.
enough.
Let's see here. The speed humps were actually delivered this afternoon, so haven't had time to talk with Justin when those will get installed, but we have 3 new sets. I'm sure one will go on Adams and the dip, but then we have another 2 that we can put somewhere else, so. Let's see, building, just a reminder, there'll be planning commission next Tuesday, 5:30. We'll go over sort of the tenant limits, possibly recommending having limits on the number of tenants in a building, but we'll also discuss any other potential zoning updates that maybe we think won't be presenting recommendations, but just starting to have discussions on if there's anything we see in the zoning that could be updated. Antique Mall, the asbestos remediation crew was out there today to officially remove everything. I've reached out to the demo crew. Haven't quite gotten the all clear on the asbestos, but have to wait for that to happen. But so pretty soon here, it should be by the end of the year that the Antique Mall will come down. So that's kind of the first thing that has to happen is the asbestos. But after that, it'll be the all clear for the demo crew. I did send an email about UDF and the Sturwurfs. I don't know if we want to do it now or under maybe new business or something, but just saying which days potentially work. The Sturwurfs, it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays are easier for them. UDF said any time on Tuesday would be fine. And then Wednesdays at 2 p.m. or later would be good for them. I don't know, do we want to have that discussion now, or is it new business? How do we? Did anyone have time to think about it or have preference on when?
Either is fine. I can be available. Yeah.
You had a
I'm
first
not on.
meeting already? Did you have a first meeting?
No.
Never did, okay. I
It
thought
was
you were
an-
gonna
it was-
just get the 2 groups together before you went to mediation, but you didn't do that.
That's, I'd say they're the same thing, the mediation with the 2 groups. We initially
The
had.
first meeting is mediation.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. We had talked about doing it yesterday, but just hadn't heard back in time from people, and it was extremely short notice, so.
Is there a particular day we're shooting for?
Tuesday or Wednesday, I think really 19th and the 20th. And I feel like I can make any time on Tuesday or Wednesday work.
That's
Wednesdays.
2 weeks from now.
Or yeah, I
Yeah.
apologize. Yeah, sorry. In 2 weeks, the 19th or the 20th.
I can do Tuesday.
Tuesday, what
Me-
time you can? Gotcha. And do you have a particular time? I mean, if it's like in the middle
We
of
have
the
a
day, is
council
that?
meeting though, the 19th, so that would not work at 5 o'clock probably.
Did you have a I mean, can you make any time on the 19th work? If we just want to try to give them a range of times to. I hope it wouldn't.
And a parks.
Gotcha. I mean, I would hope it would be less than an hour. I mean, I kind of feel like both sides have discussed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wouldn't be longer than an hour. I feel like we would know by then.
5 that day.
That work for your schedule?
You want to aim for Tuesday at 5? Okay. I'll, yeah, I'll shoot out an email tonight and just, yeah, see if we can't get that, so Tuesday the 19th at 5 PM. Got it.
How many people do you want at this mediation?
What's that?
How many people of council do you want, or feel like you need?
I mean, Scott would probably say 2 max, but I mean, we're not really making any decisions. It's just sort of hearing each side out, right? So I don't know that it's necessarily, you're breaking any public meetings. So I mean, I feel like anybody could be there if they want to just listen in and hear each side out. I don't know that we necessarily have to have a maximum.
Okay.
Let's see, update on grants. So CDBG, I visited with April Galelli with the county. So we were approved for our code enforcement request of $55,000. So that's to be spent over 2 years, 2025 and 2026. They did reject the parks request for $150,000. And I have listed on here that they approved the street improvement, but I need to double check that. I can't remember if they, I feel like maybe that was still a maybe.
You
That
know
was-
why the Parks was rejected?
They said they pretty much went through every application and struck parks from everything. It just wasn't a priority. They wanted to see more, like code enforcement's a big one, facade's still a big one. Parks just were not high for anybody. It wasn't just us. They made it sound like it was pretty much everybody had their parks requests. They said if it was ADA, they said that kind of was in favor of it, but you know, if it was just a play set, again, it just wasn't a priority for them this year.
Not-
So.
Okay.
Did we get an ADA?
The ramp? We didn't
Get
get, so
the-
we didn't get the ramp or the playground?
Correct. So we still have the ODNR grant
Right.
in the works, but this
Yeah.
was CDBG county funds. That was rejected. But we do have the code enforcement again. That's $55,000 over 2 years. And one other item, just we got a $32,000 rescue tool, 100% grant funded. I recall these being called the Jaws of Life
Oh,
as a
yeah.
kid. I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but it's lets you cut through car metal to help get someone out of a crashed vehicle. So pretty cool. Then just one quick update on Human Nature. This is who's doing the streetscape planning with us. Meeting with them on Thursday. They walked Hamilton Avenue with Strand and Associates. They're street engineers. At the last meeting, we voted on, you know, where you would want potential bump outs. You know, just kind of carving into the street, making it easier to cross the street in certain places, helping to kind of restrict traffic. They went out with an engineer and then had discussions with ODOT, just feasibility discussions. They're going to tell me what those findings are this Thursday. So kind of see what they think of our ideas and what would be good to implement, and we can start turning that into an official plan. That is all, I believe that's all I have. Updated aggregation numbers down there. Yeah, that is all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bauer. Does anybody have any questions?
Scott, did you need for the speed humps, again, one on Adams, do you guys have a pretty good idea where you want to put the other two, or did you need
I mean,
streets
we're-
or safety to get involved, or?
I mean, if you would like to, that'd be fine. I mean, the Adams one seems obvious. Yeah, I mean, if I can pull some more, I can pull the data together again, the traffic
Okay.
count data we have and the crash data. I mean, it'd probably be good to discuss. I think the two should probably go in tandem together on the same
It
place.
said they'd go on Compton,
Yeah.
On comp, that, okay.
but
No, I don't have a problem, I just wanted to, if you needed assistance with deciding or
Gotcha.
anything like that. And then on the speed humps, so these are, we'll call them portable. We know they're not easily portable, but were we looking at doing anything for the rest of the year outside of these two additional ones, or?
Not
were
in
we-
'24.
Not in '24, so, but next year potentially,
Right. Well, especially
not
with
as
the
far as
new,
portable ones, but
right.
more permanent ones going into next year.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with
On some of the other streets.
with the equipment Justin is requesting in the budget, the Bobcat with all the attachments, he'll have the ability to create the ones that we have on Harrison Avenue. So, I mean, if there's places we
Okay,
feel
perfect.
a permanent
That's-
one could be, I mean, you can always grind them off if it just seems like a terrible idea, but we can go that
Yep.
route too next year as well. That'd be a lot cheaper than the portable ones. I mean, you need the manpower to do it, but
Yeah. and-
dollar-wise, it's cheaper.
Yeah, that was my secondary point. They're a lot
Yeah.
less expensive, so.
Right.
Yep. So, okay. Yep. So we can maybe time that for spring or early summer?
For the installation of the
Yeah.
new humps?
Yeah.
I mean, if the weather holds out, I don't want to commit to Justin to anything, but if the weather would hold out, he could potentially get them in this year, but
No, for
most likely
the,
next
for
year.
the other ones coming, for the permanent ones, for
Yeah, that would be
next year.
next, that'd be
for-
next year, yeah. I
yes.
mean, we have to get the
Spring, summer
equipment, which I
timeframe.
think he can get as early as January. for
Okay.
Bob.
You have to wait till the blacktop
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
factory's
Yep,
open.
Yep, yep,
That's probably April.
yeah.
There's usually one that
No, I
stays
just
open.
want to make sure that
Yeah,
when
but
we,
by the time they get the blacktop down here, it's cold,
Right.
cold
Yeah, yeah.
top.
my point being is, if there's any future discussion, I want to have them so we're ready to go, when we're ready to go. So,
Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you. Anything else? Okay, well, then we're going to move on to the police department report. Chief Jerry Deisenheimer.
Couple things, we conducted our first use of force review panel in October 15th. The reason why we waited so long is the number of use of force cases were significantly down. This time last year, there were 35 use of force cases. This time, we only had 19. It's something I like to see.
Yeah.
Definitely. All the cases were in compliance. And these uses of force also include display of firearms, parking, and things like that. So we document everything and make sure they're reviewed. So that went well. We had representatives from the city as well as Pasco, Washington came in and on the review. We received our Ohio Collaborative Certification for 2024, thanks to Nick Michael. And this kind of takes place of what we were doing with Korea. So right now, we do the Ohio Collaborative Certification and flexible, so make sure our policies, procedures are put in the guardrails as far as how we operate from a police standpoint. We will complete all our continuing professional training hours for each officer. We have mandatory 24 hours, but we will get close to 40 hours per officer. What's great about that is you submit that 40 hours per officer to the state of Ohio, you get reimbursement from them. So we continue to get checks for that, for reimbursement for our training. And lastly, we met with the commander of the Southern Ohio Liquor Control, and they will assist us doing compliance checks in the month of November. Or we'll out to all the establishments and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Thank you, Chief. Questions, council? Well, we thank you for coming up, Chief. The
Yep.
council really appreciates it. Moving on then to ordinances. We have one ordinance. Now, this ordinance had a second reading at the last meeting, but it's been revised. So we're going to go ahead and start over, have a first reading or a suspension of the rules before, and then we'll have a two reading if it agrees with everybody. So it's the ordinance number 24-2052, an ordinance amending ordinances 21-1969 and 1109 of the City of Mount Holly Code of Ordinances, revised since the first reading on 10/15/24. Questions and comments, council?
What ordinance did you just read?
What's that, sir?
I've got,
Well, it says
What'd you read?
it says 5-2 on the agenda. That's, but the ordinance
Ordinance
says
is
5-3.
3 on it, yeah. That's what's confusing
That's
me.
what's, he probably read it from this.
Yeah,
The agenda says
The agenda's
5-2.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the agenda's
yeah.
wrong.
It's 5-3.
Yeah, so it's ordinance number 24-2053.
Okay.
revised, the only changes are, should have an asterisk next to it on the second page.
I think the president needs to reread the
Oh, sure.
description.
Okay? Yeah. This is a reading of the ordinance 24-2053. An ordinance adding section 110-110, security guard required at retail business open to public between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. to the City of Mount Healthy Code of Ordinances.
Again, there are revisions. Really, it's just adding language to say what the penalty would be. So if we were to, someone were to be open without having proper security, we would cite them. And letter D there states what the fine would be. Did clarify with Scott Solomon that it is someone with official police certification. It's not any security company. It would have to be a police officer.
Questions, council?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you notifying, since they don't know about this, I mean?
Right.
Like, is it for
I mean,
Speedway, right?
It's 30 days for it to take effect, right? I mean, we'd basically give them the 30 days to make sure that we've covered our bases, that they can't complain that we didn't give them proper time to make accommodations. I think we've kind of spoken with them in general that they know it's coming down the pipe, but we would still give them time to work out accommodations.
Thank you.
So currently, this would apply to Speedway, maybe White Castle, maybe UDF.
I think it's only the first two. UDF, I believe they close at
They're
1.
closing
close at-
overnight?
They close
At 1 o'clock.
1 and open at 5, I believe.
But it would apply to those event centers too, right? If they have enough.
Right.
It's only retail business.
Any questions from this side of council?
That's a separate ordinance. Yeah.
As I said earlier, we have a revised ordinance in front of us, so I'd like to start over and do a first reading or a suspension of the two reading rule.
I make a motion to suspend the two reading rule.
Okay? Mr. Parsons has made a motion to suspend. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Young has seconded. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lingo?
Aye.
Mr. Parsons?
Aye.
Mr. Redding?
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa? Mr. George?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Rissel?
Okay, by a vote of 7-0, the two reading rule's been suspended. Once again, is there any questions regarding this that you want to ask? If not, I would ask for a motion to adopt.
I'd
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 24-2053.
Mr. Redding has made a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Cordell George has seconded. Roll call.
Mrs. Lingo?
Aye.
Mr. Parsons?
Aye.
Mr. Redding?
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa?
Aye.
Mr. George?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Rissel?
Okay, by a vote of 7-0, ordinance number 24-2053 is passed. That is all the ordinances and resolutions. So we move on then to old business. And the old business council.
What's the status of the gas aggregation numbers?
Reports. My most recent numbers from last week, it's down to 5.26.
We're at like 5.95 currently, is that
My-
just below 6, weren't we?
The first
Yeah, I
12
don't
months is
remember.
4.9.
I'm sorry?
The first 12 months is 4.9, yeah.
4.9?
Yep.
Oh, we were just below 5.
Yep. So if we could get below 5 again, I think they would jump on it, and we've got a little ways to get
Okay.
that much movement. But they're basically saying we're going to wait till the start of the new year even, is their recommendation, before we
Okay.
pull the trigger on a rate. But it's at least, it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longer it stays warmer, the better off we are.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably February or March, we have to make a decision. I might be misremembering, but we have still a little ways
Yeah.
before we have to pick a rate.
Old Business Council. New business.
You gonna say something?
No, I'm,
Okay,
no, I'm good.
I got some new business. I got some old and new business. I postponed the Finance Committee meeting that was scheduled for last night. Like to reschedule that for next Monday, November 11th, 5 o'clock. To go over the proposed 2025 budget.
That works.
I forget what we do for current year budget. Do we need a separate meeting to discuss where we're going to land for 2024? Don't we typically do that?
Where we're gonna land.
For
Yeah.
2024.
Okay,
No, you just work out all the housekeeping stuff
Yep.
and
okay.
transfers and.
Yep.
Was that it, Bob?
That's it.
New Business Council.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Lingo has made a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Ms. Rissel, seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.